All right, y'all. Thank you so much for your viewership in advance before I even do this video. Grand Rising, good afternoon, good evening, honey. Whenever you click on this video is the right time for you. And we're going to do an energetic tap in on EJ and the energy around him the day that everything went left at Kylie Jenner's house before the whole altercation that put everyone's life in a tailspin between Megan, Kelsey, and Tori. I just finished the reading on um, Tory Lane's driver and bodyguard, Quan, um, Jaquan, and I did a reading on EJ a few years ago. I want to say during quarantine, and due to me just having so many videos stockpiled, I figured, you know what, I'll do this tap in now, because by the time I find that video, God knows how long it'll take me to track it down and upload it, because I have over 500 videos um, over the last 5 years. Excuse me, no, over 500 videos over the last 3 years. There we go. Because I started to do a lot of these videos during quarantine. So I'm going to tap into EJ's energy around the time that all of this happened. Not his personal life, just the energy for that day. And the energy around his testimony. Now, I've said this before, and if you've watched my Tory videos, you know that I've said this. It's one of those things to where I don't feel that Tory's defense properly handled the cross-examination with EJ's testimony. EJ had a lot of gems in his testimony. He said a lot without saying much. He made sure that he let us know that he only packed Megan's belongings because he doesn't work for Kelsey. He only works for Megan. And that he saw what appeared to be a taser in Megan's bag. Now, I thought it was interesting because the firearm in question, I believe it was supposed to be green, and no one asked EJ what color the handle of such said, taser could have possibly been in his bag that he saw. Now, depending on the taser, if you look at the ones that, security officers and police have, it has a handle on it like a firearm. So that was a huge thing for me, that nobody requested for him to go into detail on how it looked. He did say that he had put the belongings, he had helped to take the belongings, I believe along with Megan, and transfer them into the other vehicle, which was the SUV that Tori had arrived in, because he had to leave. Apparently he had other engagements, other clients that he was supposed to be working for the next day. So he was, turning in early. And he had brought the ladies to Kylie's house. So I'm under the impression that he was also going to bring them back. I don't feel that he expected Tori to arrive to the house. So he also said that he contacted T. Ferris to let T. Ferris know that he felt like it was time for Megan to leave, because she was making comments that, he deemed to be shady and disrespectful towards Kylie, and he thought that they should go. Now, I always thought that that was interesting in the cross-examination, that nobody really went into vast detail of the energy between her and Kylie. Like, he said that she was making rude remarks towards Kylie, and nobody wanted to know if this was the only remark, if this was energy that was building. It was a lot that was left, you know, up in the air as far as I'm concerned. A lot of the questioning could have went a little further in depth to the energy and the character of the people that were involved, because let's remember, EJ said that he doesn't drink. He let us know that he, Odell Beckham, and a white gentleman who was also a football player arrived with Odell Beckham. These were the three who were not partaking in alcohol. All three of these people don't drink. So I believe he said there was like at least 12 people there. And these 12 people, from 1:30 in the afternoon to around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4:30, had consumed anywhere from 5 to 6 full bottles of liquor. Now, I don't know if these were fifths or liters. Either way, that is a lot of alcohol for 7 to 8 people to consume in about, 3 hours time. So to me, his testimony was very pivotal because he had a clear mind. He had not been altered by being inebriated. So he was able to give us a vantage point of everything that was going on, because his memory wasn't skewed by, the turn up. He also told us that Kelsey got so lit that she had pretty much fell asleep, passed out in the pool. And he went and got her. I guess she was on a floaty or something. He went and got her because he was worried about her, falling over into the water and bringing harm to herself if she fell in the water asleep. So he got her out the water. He took her into the bedroom that Kylie had for the ladies, which was a suite. And he had her to lay down in a bed where she could rest safely. Now, during this time is where I'm under the impression that this is where things started to spiral, okay? Megan was in contact with Tori. She told him that Kylie would like for him to come over, and that Kylie was really digging on Tori. She was, all geeked up over quarantine radio. So Megan contacted Tori because Kylie was interested in communicating with Tori. All of this is going on while Kelsey is in the back sleep, unbeknownst to her. And then here it is, Tori shows up, and the energy starts getting thick, and the slick remarks start towards Kylie. And this is where EJ says, okay, I think we need to go. So you made it through this. Now I'm about to tap into EJ's energy, because I always want to preface these readings with the testimonies so that we can keep up with what happened and what's going on. Because if this goes to retrial, all of this is going to have to be rehashed. So I always want us to stay abreast of what's on the record as a testimony when I do these tap-ins. All right, show me the energy around EJ the night that all of this happened at Kylie's house. Why did he really leave early? Nine of Cups. Okay, so we have a wish fulfillment, Queen of Wands. So I know that I always use the Queen of Wands as a card that indicates Megan is the hot girl, but in this situation, Kylie is also a Leo. So this was like a major opportunity for EJ to go and network at Kylie Jenner's house. He's looking at, okay, I'm building my roster, I'm expanding my networking. This is a good look for me, right? King of Wands. So he said in his testimony that Kylie was digging on the whole quarantine radio thing, and she was feeling Tory. So this is letting it be known that this is backing up what I had just said from the testimony. It was a wish fulfillment, 9 of Cups for the King of Wands, because Kylie, Page of Swords, had been watching what Tory was doing. She was watching his motion with quarantine radio. So she definitely was a fan of his work. So that is true. So off the rip, it's looking like EJ is very credible. And then bam. Now, mind you, I just said, you know, let's talk about why he left early. He decided to leave a toxic situation to go off into, you know, a more peaceful situation, because this is somebody who's leaving a chaotic waters going into calmer waters. They're escaping. So he didn't like the way that this was going. He felt like this was the Titanic, honey. The ship was sinking and he wanted off fast. It's like, okay, let's go. You need to get in the car and go with me. Oh, you're not going with me. Now I'm really not staying, right? 9 of Swords. You see how you got this woman here and then you got these two here, and this man got his face in his hands. He knew that this was going up Schitt's Creek real fast. He had anxiety about it. He was trying to help Megan save face before this went too far. But when he realized he couldn't, he just decided to get in his vehicle and get to getting. So this wasn't, hold on. Yeah. Because no matter what, he was going to have balance through a new beginning. He was thinking, you know, I said that in the past tense. I liked working for you, but if I have to leave you behind, I'm going to do what I have to do to still be able to work and thrive in this industry. Queen of Coins, somebody almost like a mother figure, very poised, very mature, and about their stability. He was not about to mess up his opportunities for anyone. Oh, something just fell. I guess that was confirmation. Yeah, he wasn't about to mess up his opportunities for anyone. He wasn't going to put himself in a situation to where when we wake up in the morning and you regret what you did, he has to regret what you did too. So he decided to separate himself from this whole situation so that he could still be able to have a viable career. So this wasn't just about waking up in the morning to go and work with somebody else, but he was getting to the money. Okay, this wasn't just about him leaving because he had a financial obligation, because it looks like somebody is offering him, you know, a pretty penny. They were willing to pay him handsomely, and he had to consider his options. Six of Cups. So he also, you know, looks at, he was in good rapport with people that he had worked with in the past. Six of Cups is people coming back that he had dealt with in the past to work with him. And for the most part, he has a very stellar, pristine reputation with whomever he works with. And he wanted to keep things this way. Okay, so here's this Queen of Wands. Now he's looking at her as a person from the past. Now, I find this interesting. The Six of Pentacles keeps coming out. Megan always talks about Kelsey possibly receiving something. But if it was Kelsey, why is this Six of Pentacles popping up in every direction? It's almost like someone was considering giving people a nominal fee to, sever ties, like severance packages, and keep things quiet. Now, I can't say that he received anything, but I'm saying this is allegedly energy behind the scenes, because this was going to be a major cleanup, not because somebody had something to drink and got a little ratchet. I mean, that happens to multiple people. It was the how, the when, and the where, because the Kardashians are very huge in Hollywood. They have a very big influence in media, and they needed this to stay under the radar. Let's remember, this is right before WAP came out, and WAP ended up being a huge global hit. This was a huge #1 across the world. They had to make sure that this did not eclipse WAP. Wheel of Fortune, 9 of Cups. So, his wish fulfillment was to build his empire, build his brand. And it's like things are getting bigger and better for EJ. Even after severing ties with Megan, Wheel of Fortune in the upright is things are really working out and working to his advantage at this point. And he's worked hard to protect everything that he's built. Okay, so he's, King of Wands, which represents Tauri, because Tauri is a fire sign, to the Three of Wands. Three of Wands falling under that King of Wands. It's like he knew that this was going to be a major opportunity. As you see this person climbing up this ladder, this was going to be a major opportunity for Tauri to come over to this get together to speak with Kylie. So it's like everybody knew that. But see what's at the bottom of the deck? The Lovers, and then the Six of Swords. It's like EJ, if he didn't know beforehand what was going on, he knew enough to catch on to what was happening and get the hell out the way. Because he knew that this situation here with the Lovers was going to be toxic. It was going to be chaotic. Why is it that this was going to happen? My nose is itching. Why did EJ know that this was going to be chaotic? Please explain, please and thank you. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is not just about love, it's about abundance. So, like I said, EJ separated himself so that he can continue to have his abundance and still have opportunities pour into him. And he also knew that, somebody was very deep and heavy in their feelings. And he decided forward movement. I'm going to just get in my car and go, because Temperance, no matter what happens with you, I'm going to still be able to work tomorrow. So we got the Five of Coins and the Seven of Cups. Yeah, he didn't want to be out in the cold. He didn't want to be blacklisted. So he had to consider his options. What was going to keep the balance for his career? He had to, this is juggling with the idea of what to do. Where do you go from here? So I could see how this is a stressful situation because it's like you're trying to be the peacemaker, you're trying to be the bigger person, it's not working, you're trying to convince this person that this isn't the best behavior or the best situation, and it's not working. So, you know, when all else fails, you just leave, right? Now, this high priestess, ace of coins. Listen, EJ knows where the bones are buried, honey. It's a lot that he's not saying. That's why I said that his testimony was not handled properly. He pretty much gave Tori's defense everything they needed if they properly structured their questions. Because this Ace of Pentacles falling over the High Priestess, he knows the truth also about allegations about money being offered and a lot of things that's going on behind the scenes, allegedly. And you see this? Three of Swords. This was very heartbreaking for EJ because he did do everything that he could possibly do to try to soothe the situation, to try to get people out of position to humiliate themselves or make a decision that was um, irreversible. Six of Cups, Judgment. So that Six of Cups and that Judgment is like, you know, people from your past, you know, karma caught up to them. You know, out of being stubborn. Four of Coins, that represents generational wealth, and it also represents somebody being stuck in a situation, being rooted, grounded, being stubborn. And this brought heartbreak, you know, to the Queen of Wands. It just feels like, you know, EJ looks at this whole situation as this was just so unnecessary. It didn't have to happen this way. Had you have just left and went home, slept off the energy, people could have woke up the next day, this would have never been a thing. But, you know, it's like I said, things are looking great for EJ. This is stability in home life, finances. I don't know if EJ is dating, but this is like, you know, taking something to the next level. Also, this is like commitment to other endeavors after he decided to make a decision, and it was like he was forced into making this decision. He had to separate himself from the situation one way or the other, whether he was terminated or he terminated his own employment. It was going to come to an end one way or the other because of the energy attached to this situation. If he wanted to continue to build a career, to build a legacy, to be in, you know, like a peaceful standing, he was going to have to separate himself. And he didn't want to, but this is where you have to separate friendship from business. And this was to save his career, his business, his brand, everything that he had worked on and developed. I like you, but I like my stability and my money more. So I'm going to have to choose me. Boom, the world. And this is where everything came to an end. All came crashing down. The King of Wands, this opportunity, and the world. That's acknowledging that after this night, because of what happened with Tori, nothing was the same, and it all came to an end, and it was never going to be the same again anyway. So everybody was going to have to, go in, separate paths after this, whether they wanted to or not. And he was trying to avoid this for everybody. He wanted everybody to be able to, still have their dignity after this was all said and done. It just didn't work out that way. Yeah, a choice had to be made, a decision had to be made, and that falls under the Six of Swords, the Ace of Cups. He had a lot of love for Megan. This is like, looking at her like family, like a sister. But he had to sever ties. He had to walk away. The choice had to be made. He didn't want to, but what else could he do? Eight of Wands. So Eight of Wands falling on top of that Temperance with the Seven of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, this was a very swift decision that had to be made, but it was either, cut off the limb and save the tree, or lose the whole tree. I think I'm just gonna have to cut off this limb and let this tree flourish without that limb. Off that branch, rather. You got the Empress falling on top of the High Priestess and the Ace of Coins. This ain't a private reading, so I must steer clear of saying what this means. But for those of you who read tarot on your own, you get what that is. Ace of Pentacles over the High Priestess to the Empress. This Empress just keep on sneaking out, and it keeps on sneaking out with the High Priestess and the Moon. Queen of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. Like I said, if you are an intuitive reader, you read tarot, you know exactly what that is. I'm going to leave that alone because it's not a private reading. But like I said, EJ knows where the bones are buried. He's just very classy. He keeps things where they need to be. EJ is a skeleton key. Please believe that. So yeah, this judgment came because of this toxic behavior, the devil. And baby, when I say everybody was on demon time that night, that 1492 and Remy and whatever they consumed, it was at war. It brought out the worst in everybody. Heartbreak, okay? Queen of Wands, Three of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. Excuse me. So, like I said, Queen of Cups is very intuitive, also like a mother figure. So this is like, he was trying his best to take care of her as, a mother would, or, a person that has auntie, grandma, grandpa type energy, okay? And this is also, Queen of Cups is also the intuitive queen. So it's like EJ allegedly saw this coming. He saw catastrophe waiting to happen, and he tried by all means to avoid the whole catastrophe. And being that this heartbreak is between him and this Queen of Wands, he's never quite really completely got over how all of this happened. Like this, he's good now, but this really hurt EJ, that this incident happened, and then after this incident happened, how Megan behaved towards him afterwards. Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck. That's the energy of somebody being underhanded, conniving, being sneaky, manipulative even. And look. See that? I just said it. It was at the bottom of the deck. Seven of Swords and the Lovers. So, listen, when I just said in Quan's reading, it was like everybody knew these two was messing around, but Kelsey was the last one to know. It's like everybody in the room has an inside joke and they're all laughing, and you walk in, it's like, what's so funny? What the hell is everybody laughing about? I want to know. I want to know. Everybody somehow, some way knew that these two were dealing with each other. So I could see why everybody was on pins and needles, like, okay, yeah, this is about to go left in 5, 4, 3, 2. Yep, let me exit. It's time to go. And here's the Hermit. That's literally, that's EJ getting out of Dodge swiftly. This ain't about to end too well. This is not going to fare too well. I tried. That's it. Yep. Sowing seeds for a bigger harvest. So this is like, I got to get out here and find other opportunities or make myself available for the seeds that I've sown to flourish for my career. And see the Two of Wands. Hermit falls right on top of it. Made the choice to separate himself and, you know, just go on by himself. But he didn't want to. This is deep regret. This was a messed up situation all around for everybody that was involved. Strength. Eight of Wands falling on top of, Strength falling on top of the Eight of Wands to the Five of Coins. So it's like he knew that once the word got around that, because Five of Coins is not just being out of work. That's like being ostracized. That's like being blackballed. He was concerned, allegedly, about if she gets blackballed, all of this gets out. This also affects me. This affects my career. I don't want to be an outcast and then I'm unable to do what it is that I do. Five of Wands. So he was concerned that after information was going to, he was concerned about if the information got out about the scuffle, what actually happened, that this was going to end everybody's careers. The Magician falling on top of the High Priestess, the Empress, and the Ace of Pentacles. The Magician is a manifestor and a manipulator. So it was a campaign that was put together with this Ace of Pentacles to manipulate the energy and keep this under wraps. Because, you know, even those who worked on the team to do the PR for this, this was a huge blow. Like, this couldn't have happened at a worse time. Because remember, like I said, this was right before they dropped WAP. WAP was expected to be huge. This literally couldn't have happened at a worse time. See that? That Five of Wands. Here's that fight that everybody wants to say didn't happen or try to pretend like, you know, just was people bumping into each other. Falling on top of the Devil. Judgment. And the Six of Cups. So once again, all this old stuff came up from all these people that dealt with each other from the past. the devil being in toxic energy, being on demon time, led to these people getting into this altercation. Three of Coins, Ace of Wands. That's a third party energy attached to this big D energy. So he knew that it was a possibility they can get into it, but it was like the shock of it all when he heard on the back end how this turned out. It's like, hey, the Fool. This was like something that came out of the clear blue. Like this whole day was a whole, WTF moment. And it was just something that just, from what I can feel energetically from EJ, all of this could have been avoided. It was toxic. It was childish. And it was, things that possibly wouldn't have happened if people had been more responsible with consumption. So I'm going to tap out of the energy around EJ. But it looks like EJ is a very solid person, for what it's worth. Because if I'm not mistaken, Megan had accused EJ of snitching on her and going to the blogs and telling things about her. And I find that to be interesting, that this is a narrative that she has every time she falls out with somebody. She insinuated Kelsey had went and spoke on her and was hating on her. She insinuated that Tory and his team had went to the blogs and they were leaking information. So I wonder, why is she so paranoid that everybody is going to the blogs telling on her, leaking information on her? Let me tap into that, and that could be the last question. I'm going to use a whole nother deck so that the energy is different. Okay. Why does Megan feel that everybody's going to the blogs to leak information on her? Knight of Swords. This is somebody carrying messages. So she definitely believes that all these people are going to the blogs carrying messages to put the weight of the world on her back. Ten of Wands. Nine of Swords. Two of Cups. So this is heavy anxiety, losing sleep, being a total complete wreck over this Two of Cups situation with the King of Wands and the Nine of Wands. Lord, what else is this peeking out? Okay, so allegedly this feels like there's another male that could be attached to this situation that is not being named, that has not been spoken on, but she could have possibly been dealing with this person around the same time. And she was trying to, damn, how do I say this? Because this is messed up. It's like she's a worry wart. She's constantly worried about how people are going to think and feel about her. If people knew the real her, they knew the real situation, how they would judge. She has a really heavy burden that she places on herself, worrying about the perception of others and how their perception is going to affect her. And whoever this King of Pentacles is, this is someone who possibly is in control of financial expenditures over her career. And this is the hidden person that's not being discussed. Mm. Nine of Wands. I was just looking at this. Nine of Wands, Four of Swords. So the wounded warrior and the Four of Swords. This was supposed to be put to rest. The Chariot. They were supposed to move on from this situation. This was supposed to be put to rest. Chances are it was not supposed to come to the forefront the way that it did. Tell me more, because I want to be sure. I always like to illustrate what, you know, what I'm saying and what I'm seeing. King of Wands. But because this came out the way that it did, the one who was put to rest was the King of Wands, Tori. Put him in the Five of Pentacles. Ostracized, out of here. Blackballed, blacklisted, right? Yeah, cycle came to an end. When somebody came forward with a message, Four of Wands and the Chariot. Yeah. What happened in this card was going to affect stability greatly. And they had to consider financial stability, generational wealth, versus being blacklisted, losing money. And notice this woman has her face in her hands, and here she is with this blanket over her. This is the card for, you know, no rest, heavy anxiety, somebody who's losing sleep at night. She was worried about losing her career. She was worried about losing everything she worked for, going into poverty, because she was just coming into abundance. This is like losing contracts, negotiations, and agreements. Notice this was two women sitting out here, out in the cold. So had the truth come out about what was going on between her and Kelsey, it was going to be a wrap for her. All of this allegedly, okay, is, you know, what the energy was around her worrying about people going to the blogs, releasing things about her. Two of Cups and stability. So I just had somebody comment on another video today, and I promise you this is an answer to something that they said in the comment on the Partisan Fontaine video, where they were saying that they felt that her relationship with Partisan Fontaine was for PR. And then boom, here you go, the Two of Cups, Four of Wands, Eight of Swords. That's being binded, locked in, right? Because they had to figure out what to do with this hangman, this wounded warrior energy. Wounded warrior is a person that, you know, fights to get up and fight again, to get up and fight again, to get up and fight again. So there could be secrets about other confrontations, other situations, and this was a hangman, and they just did not want people to dig into information that could possibly allegedly be attached to other stories. Because of this third party energy. So they collaborated to get a hit on this story. Yep. The minute people went to jail and law enforcement became involved, it was like it was instantaneous. People came together to figure out how they could pretty much do this cleanup on aisle 6, because they had to get ahead of the story to control how this was going to come out in the media. And it appears to be the energy that Megan was in. Megan was trying to control how this was going to be seen, because she has, it's like she almost has a really, really obsessive fear of people going to the blogs and telling things on her that could end everything for her. And I didn't realize that that was a thing until I just tapped into that energy right now in this reading. It's, you know, this has been over 3 years, and it hit me like, damn, she did accuse EJ of leaking stories on her. I remember hearing that. And they said that, you know, she got rid of him because of that. And then it was assumed that Kelsey was saying certain things. And then it was assumed that Tory and his publicists were speaking to people on her. And, you know, I don't know, but guys, you tell me. I don't remember Tory's team or Tory himself making any comments saying anything in particular about what happened. Me personally, and I can't speak for anybody else, the first thing that I heard about this situation was when Megan went live and accused him of, you know, powing her, right? So if anybody knows anything any different, please tell me, because I don't recall him saying anything before she said anything. But that's, like I said, once again, that's just me. So it feels like when she, allegedly, when she decided to come forward and speak, she was getting ahead of the story before anyone else could say anything. But I don't get that anyone else was going to say anything. All right, we're about to tap out of this energy and in this stress. Stress and hesitation. So, hold on. So, stress, let's see, headache, pressure, lack of sleep, right? So, hesitation. You know, we got to look at this, came out in the reverse. So, hesitation is when you just keep stalling. You keep, you know, procrastinating. You keep waiting. You keep thinking about, you know, maybe I should, nah, okay, well, let's wait this out and see what happens. This is like somebody literally jumping the gun because they are jittery and they are worried. They don't know what to expect. Schedule, management, plan, organize. So there was somebody who was trying to organize this situation. Things were going to be brought to an end one way or the other. Self-love. So, an apology in reverse. Wow. Evidence. Apology in reverse. So, this is like, this is messed up. How do I say this? This is like, once the evidence came out, this is a person being very unapologetic about how things went. And you would think that that's, you know, Tory, because that's the way it looked to the media. He seemed to be arrogant to a lot of people, to be very unapologetic for what happened, seemed to be uncaring about how things went. But it actually is like, once things, you know, started to be discovered, we started to look at this whole situation different because it's like, wait a minute. Here you go, promise. See this look like somebody proposing? Death. So when we found out that y'all was dealing with each other and all of this came out of that, and then boom, everything came to an end, it changed the perspective on what really happened because people wanted to know more about the energy around these two. Readiness and collaboration. Withdraw. Okay, so yeah, they were dealing with each other. You know, look at this whole team working. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon to hurry up and work and get this PR thing off the ground. Remember I told you somebody had made a comment on another video that this relationship was a PR situation, and then boom, out of nowhere, withdrawal. Why is this a withdrawal? What is this? Alliance. Ooh wee. Alliance, care, family. So that's tapping into a whole nother thing. My subscribers, I swear, they always send me in a direction to where it's a powder keg. It's always. And then boom, stop. The alliance stop. And this alliance looks like this came out of a strategy. So that person who made that comment was possibly on to something. It's like every part of her life somehow, some way, allegedly is driven by a PR machine. Everything that we see publicly is well designed, allegedly. And it feels like, allegedly, the team took over because they did not want her to handle certain things because she could be a tad bit impetuous. Like this is a, leap before you look type energy where you get nervous, jump off the deep end, and then you find out it wasn't the deep end. It was a puddle versus, an ocean. So they decided to take over to make sure that the image and the brand matched the packaging that they were putting together for her career. So instead of having her worry about, what people were going to say when they went to the blogs, they made sure that they controlled the blogs to a certain extent so that the information that came out was favorable in an unfavorable situation. Because no matter how this works out for anybody, this was not a good look for anybody that was involved. Victims, attackers, assailants, this was bad for everyone. So they had to do what they had to do to preserve the brand. So this is my energetic tap in on EJ, the stylist, and it was quite interesting. EJ seems like a really cool person to have as a friend, and this situation feels like it taught him a lesson about separating friendships from business, because it was a very heartbreaking lesson for him to learn, because it feels like he loved her like a sister, like a close cousin, like they were tight until they weren't. And he had no control over how it went down when they weren't. So I'm going to close this out now, and thank you in advance to everyone who viewed this video. And everybody be blessed. Have a wonderful evening. And this reading is adjourned.